Hello, it is 9 p.m. Welcome to our English news edition brought to you in live by Rtd channel. Here are the top stories. Council of Ministers for the City. Celebration of the World Day of Reviews.
That was the headlines, and now to the national news. And the chairmanship of His Excellency Mr. Ismail Margeli, the President of the Republic and head of the government, took place on Tuesday, 20 June 2017. The 14th meeting of the Council of Ministers. At the beginning of the meeting, the Council of Ministers has discussed at length on the situation prevailing at Dumera after the occupation, a new time in its territory, and this in total violation of the resolution of the United Nations. In the face of this provocation, the Republic of Djibouti has entered the Security Council of the United Nations and the African Union on this aggression that it considers as an act of war, and who will send a mission. The Council of Ministers specified that our country has always demonstrated its willingness and its good faith to resolve this conflict by peaceful means, in accepting the mediation of Qatar, which has not resulted, however, to no results in 7 years. In the face of this new action, our country is more than ever determined to defend the entirety of our territory. I need to emphasize that it is important for the international community to take its responsibilities and reiterate the availability of our countries in order to find a peaceful outcome to the conflict which we opposed. Third question, draft law on ratification of the Arab Convention number 8 on the Freedom and Trade Union law. The Minister of Labour has presented to the Council of Ministers 3 projects of laws. The first draft of the Act has for objective the ratification of the protocol to the Convention on Forced Labour of 1930, and this protocol aims to fill gaps and complement the 1930 Convention on Forced Labour through the adoption by the Member State of measures for the prevention of forced or compulsory labour concerning, among others, education and information of the person considered, the protection of persons and also migrant workers, and the implementation of action in the fight against the root cause and factors that increase the risk of forced and compulsory labor. And this project is part of the continuity of the willingness of the government to fight the trafficking of human beings, and particularly the forced labor. The second project has for objective the ratification of the Maritime Labour Convention 2006, which is an international instrument of the International Labour Organization on the condition of life and of decent work for all sailors who work on the ships fighting pavilion of our country, having ratified the convention. And it put in place in single document the right of seamen who work on the ships, including fair condition of employment and also the protection of their health. The first question, project of decree and appointment, are appointing Mr. Hussein Abdurraghi, Inspector General of the Office of Investigation and Analysis at the Ministry of Equipment and Transport, Mr. Osman Roble Giro, Director of Statistics of Prospective Studies and Legal Affairs of the Ministry of Equipment, Mr. Dalita Sultan Muhammad, Director of Transport, Mr. Ali Ahmed Yusuf, and Mr. Abazid Ibrahim Hamaki, and also Abdullah Ismail Abbas, Technical Advisors of the Minister of the Equipment and Transport, Mr. Hassan Hussein Omar, Technical Advisor to the Prime Minister, and also Mr. Hussein Idris Samri and Ms. Safia Abdullah Bulu, Technical Advisors of the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training. And the fifth question, draft decree supplementing decree number 2016-072, put amending the decree number 2015-272, put on the organization and functioning of the Civil Aviation Authority. The purpose of the draft decree is to complement the decree on the organization and functioning of the Civil Aviation Authority, which is equipped with the new infrastructure, and its area of expertise have been widely reviewed and rising to reach the international standard set by the International Civil Aviation Organization. And this structure is the national regulator in regulatory matter and also procedures for application of the safety of flight, as well as the airport safety, which is a crucial area. In view of the increase in its mission, it is important to create a post of Deputy Director General, which will have the mission to assist
An important delegation of the Executive Committee of the RPP, led by the Vice President of the party RPP and one minister, is returning to Ali Sabieh, or she has organized a ceremony of a discount of donation of clothing to orphans and children of poor families. The delegation comprising the Minister of Communication, Mr. Abdi Yusuf Suge, the Minister of Labor, Hassan Samire, and the tenors of the party have informal meeting with the local leaders. The party RPP, which remains one of the main political forces of the country, accompanied by parents and box headers by the committee of Annex RPP of Asujog. The orphans of Asujog have received the new clothes with whom they will celebrate the feast of the end of Ramadan. The RPP organized this kind of actions of support to orphans each Ramadan and take this opportunity to go political message intended for the revitalization of the party and the mobilization of activities for the future. During the meeting, the question of the water income was on the eve of the inauguration by the President of the Republic and the grant of the cross-border projects in Djibouti and Ethiopia, which will allow to have the security of supply for Ali Sabieh and of term for the whole of the country, thanks to the 100,000 cubic meters water dispatched by the Ethiopian.
Still on the national news, the two ministers of the government and senior officials of the party have accompanied the vice president of the party, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, took the floor to welcome the vice president of the RPP and thank the population of Asajor for the home. The RPP party is held at the waiting for poor population this period of Ramadan by the distribution of clothes, new and the orphans, and the awareness of activists to consolidate the ranks of the party to the approach of election next year. This ceremony took place on the eve of the inauguration of the cross-border project Djibouti-Ethiopia by the President of the Republic. The stakeholders took advantage of this opportunity to know the problem of the water will be resolved in Ali Sabieh and also on the whole of the country. The Minister of Communication, Mr. Abdi Yusuf Suge, originating to application to the population and activists to consolidate and increase the works of charity in this period of Ramadan. Mr. Hassan Idris Samri, originating also to the region of Ali Sabieh Sajog, which was in the face of severe shortage of water for a long time, will see the end of these problems of water with Ethiopia, who will serve in the first the population of Ali Sabieh and also later the entire country.
Like the world, the Republic has celebrated this morning the World Day of Refugees this year with the theme with the refugees under the tutelage of Minister of the Interior on the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, and the honors have organized the ceremony was in Campus Hotel to commemorate the Day of Refugees. Line of hospitality and exchange, the Republic of Djibouti has any time allowed the refugees since the independence. The first arrived in Somalia and Ethiopia fleeing war and drought. The last wave of refugees arriving on the ground of Djibouti. These are the Yemen refugees who have fled the war in their country. Today they are installed in Obohe. In addition to the representative of the refugees installed in our country, the ceremony shared by the Minister of the Interior, Mr. Hassan Umar Mohammed, which has seen the participation of all development partners in that support the Republic of Djibouti to manage the issues of refugees who are installed in Ali Sabieh and Hol. In their intervention, the Ambassador of Japan in Djibouti, Mr. Tetsuo Arie, and the representative of the European Union have in turn took the floor to express their satisfaction for having participated as this World Day. Dedicated to refugees still in Djibouti, they have promised to continue supporting the Republic of Djibouti, which has a great history in the home of refugees since the independence until today.
The representative of the Embassy of the United States and the representative of the UNHCR, Mr. Abdullahi Bari, have expressed their recognition to the government of Djibouti and also the people of Djibouti for the legendary hospitality and unfailing solidarity against refugees and asylum seekers.
Du réfugié dont le thème est avec les réfugiés.
The Minister of the Interior Hassan Omar has announced tough and strong in his intervention the pride of the Djiboutians to accommodate the refugees. This policy has started as soon as the first time to the independence of Djibouti, according to Minister Hassan Omar, and despite its limited resources, Djibouti has become a model for the home and also the protection of the refugees on its territory, which has been well highlighted by journalists of Washington Post. He added that in addition to the home, Djibouti has always implemented a policy of protection and the search for lasting solution in favor of refugees, and this day is a forum to continue and strengthen this policy.
And this evening we have with us a very high personality, His Excellency the Ambassador of Djibouti in Sudan, who has participated to a meeting of the Security Council on dispute between Eritrea and Djibouti.
Still on the national news, the annex of the political party RPP has organized yesterday evening a collective iftar and a ceremony for the distribution of new clothes to children of poor families and also the most needy families of the city of Arta. This event, which is unfolded in the School of the Hotelier, has seen the participation including the Minister of Energy responsible for natural resources, Mr. Yunus Ali Gedi, the Deputy of the Region, Mr. Jibril Abdullahi Migane, and Omar Wabri Malo, the Prefect of the Region, Mr. Abdullah Kedarar, the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Amibur God, as well as the President of the RPP Annex to Arta, Mr. Omar Ahmed Farah, attended to this ceremony. And this initiative is part of the charitable action of the RPP Annex in Arta during the month blessed of Ramadan, according to the President of this Annex, which has welcomed effort to improve the condition of lives of the population of Arta, in particular the most needy families.
An evening intended to the interested in the history of the country for the more young people took place yesterday evening at the National Union of Djibouti Women. This initiative has been taken in the framework of the celebration of the festivals of the 14th anniversary of the independence of the country. A course film on the history and struggle for the acquisition of national sovereignty has been projected to the more than 200 children from all centers of community development of the capital. The initiative allows young people to know the history of our country, to regain its freedom and to get rid of the French colonialists. It is in close proximity to the UNFD that the flag of Djibouti was high for the first time. Women have contributed to this advent. They strongly participated and took part in this struggle for a peace of the Republic of Djibouti. Participating in this evening, the Secretary of State and Social Affairs, Muna Aden, the Minister for Women and the Family, Momina Humed, and the Secretary of State of the Habitat and Development of the Territory, Amina Abdi.
Event of the evening for presentation of award in context of recitation of the Holy Quran organized by the Ado Association in the sport complex of Obor. In the evening of 18 June, corresponding to the 23rd day of the blessed month of Ramadan, the Association for the Future of Development of Obor, Ado, has organized, under the aegis of the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, a presentation ceremony of the prize to the winner of 3 juz, Amma Tabarak and Al-Qasami, of the competition of the Holy Quran, which is held 2 evenings at the sport complex of Obor, one for the competition and another for the award to the winners of the different juz of the Holy Quran. And this ceremony was seen the participation of the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, Mr. Hassan Mohammed Kamil, the Prefect of the Region of Obor, Hassan Dabali Ahmed, and also the Chairman of the Regional Council of Obor, Hamad Mohammed Ismail, the Advisor to the President of the Republic, Ali Mohammed Dato, and also the representative of the Department of Waqf in Obor, Mr. Mohammed Barou, the president of the association, Adu Muhammad Mola Burhan, and also the members of the jury, religious leaders, and more than 30 young have participated to this ceremony. The president of the association, Adu, wished in its intervention to welcome all the guests present at the ceremony, as well as the participants to this contest, and thank the minister, Mr. Hassan Mohammed Kamil, for his generous gesture, which is of course granting of the award to the winners of his competition. The other part of the evening saw the intervention of the president of the jury, Mr. Muhammad Ali, who claimed the public of the importance of the Holy Quran in the life of a believer, and by following the announcement of the result has completed this speech.
The OMA, in partnership with the Secretary of State for Youth and Sports, has organized yesterday evening at the CDC of BK 12 an evening awareness of the risk. They have taken part in this evening. The technical advisor to the CG, chief of the UN mission, the artists and authors, the responsible of the neighborhood, as well as of many young people. To this effect, a skate featuring the theme of the evening has been played by actors from most amateur, but also have been nevertheless managed to capture the attention of the crowd, which has flowed with the interest. The message conveyed by those small and large have left the evening the head full and showing on the most unforgettable sense.
That's it for today's news. Thanks for watching us, and have a very wonderful evening.